Welcome to the next episode of Mykaela's Corner. It's so good to see you guys. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying home, staying safe, and above all, enjoying life. How's it going? Are you having fun as we lead up to Thanksgiving, which you know means we're leading up to Christmas? I'm so excited for Christmas. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We are still focusing on Thanksgiving. Now, I just realized I went like this, and I've already been showing you my hands, so you might be wondering, Mykaela, what's with the Band-Aids? Well, if you didn't see on Facebook for our church, or if your parents didn't talk about it at home, our church, Lakeside, for those of you who go to our church, and for those of you who don't, this is a sneak peek of what's been going on at our church. It was flooded last week. Last Sunday, I showed up to church. I got there bright and early because we were going to do music and I was ready to practice. And the streets were like shut off and there were firemen there. But in the street, there was just water running down the street. I thought one of the hydrants had broken and that it was just spraying down the street, but no. Basically, just a part of like the water system in the city of Kirkland broke, but where it broke is that it just went down the hill straight into our church, and our church flooded. We had so much water, especially downstairs where the kids' areas are. Ugh, I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, I've seen pictures of places that get flooded, but I've never experienced it myself, and it was crazy. Downstairs where the kids' place is, it was 4 inches underwater, which I know that's hard to imagine, but like, it was basically like that much water, like on the ground up. So like my shoes were wet, my pants were, basically we were all dirty by the end. It was crazy. It was crazy. Anywho, that's the long story. But how I got these Band-Aids is because I have blisters on my hands. I was there, so I helped shovel out a lot of water. I helped shovel rooms out with water downstairs. And I just didn't realize it. I didn't put gloves on my hands, and just the way I was pushing really hard, and it was a couple hours and it was just a lot of work. But when I finally let go of the shovel, I realized that I had blisters on my hands and they were really bad. Well, and so now I have Band-Aids on my hands to keep them covered because they're still a little sensitive, but they're healing. So anyway, if you're wondering, did Mykaela do some crazy craft and she cut up or burned her hands? No, I was just helping at the church and I just got a little carried away without gloves in my hands. So that's that. You want to know kind of a funny thing about it? Because you have to look at the bright side, because if you don't think positive, then it's really easy to get like bummed out about it. But you know what was kind of funny is, amidst all of that, this past Sunday, my dad, the pastor, was going to start a new sermon series on Noah. If you haven't heard the story of Noah, it's about a giant flood. How crazy is that? We had a flood at the church the same Sunday. He was going to start a new series on Noah talking about the flood. I think God has a sense of humor. Anyway, back to thankfulness. Last week we talked about the 5 kernels of thankfulness, being thankful that God loves us, that God will provide for all our needs, that He's given us friends, people who love us, and that He always answers our prayers. And then the week before that, we talked about things that we are thankful for that we can't see. And I specifically talked about the Trinity, which is God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, how they're 3 separate things, but one God. So, this week we are continuing with the theme of thankfulness, and I have a fun object lesson to show you the theme of thankfulness. And you're going to have to help me out, actually. It's going to be interactive, because I'm going to ask you for answers, and so you got to shout them out at home, wherever you're watching. But with that, we've got a fun live lesson to do where you're going to shout out some answers at me, but we also have a beautiful craft today. I'm really excited to do it. We are going to be making a fall lantern, and how we're going to do this is I'm going to show you how to take leaves from outside and turn them into a beautiful lantern that you can have at home, and you can have it through the holiday season, you can have it at your table for Thanksgiving, but I'll show you how to make that when we get there. So without further ado, we've got a busy day ahead of us, so let's jump in. Welcome to Bible time. Guys, today we are going to be talking about being thankful in more ways than one. Now, there's so many things to be thankful for, but what I mean is we're going to look at some objects today and think of how to be thankful for that one thing, but in different ways. It sounds a little tricky, but I think you'll get the hang of it as soon as we get started. It's pretty easy to catch on to, and it's kind of fun. Now, thankfulness is such an important thing this season leading up to Thanksgiving. It's important to remind ourselves of all the things that we're thankful for in our lives. We have so many things to be thankful to God for. Even when it seems like it's not easy to come up with something to be thankful for, we can always find something if we try. It's pretty amazing what you can do when you have a positive mindset, when you think positively instead of negatively. It's really easy to think negatively, but you have to use your brain, and you have to use your power, and you have to ask God to help you find things to be thankful for when you feel like you just can't. But I promise you that you can. Well, there's a verse in the Bible in 1 Chronicles 16, verse 28. 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 28, and it goes like this. Give thanks to the Lord and proclaim his greatness. Let the whole world know what he has done. What a great verse, a great reminder to be thankful, not only for ourselves and to proclaim that God is so great and to give thanks to him, but so that others can see how great God is and that they can be thankful to God too. So, today we're going to do a bit of an exercise in thankfulness to God. That's a great thing for us to do, especially as we lead up to Thanksgiving. Not only to give thanks to God for his great works, but so that other people can see God's great works because we're talking about them. We're talking about the things we're thankful for, and they can see God's great work through what we're saying. So, to talk about God's great work and the things we're thankful for, we need things to be thankful for. So I brought some things that I'm going to show you guys that are things that I'm thankful for, but there's more than one way to be thankful for it. That's going to be the tricky part. And the fun part is we're going to look at something and you guys are going to come up at home. You're going to come up with some ideas of different ways that you can be thankful for what I'm going to show you. And I'll do the same thing. Now, as I'm coming up with things and you're coming up with things, some of them might match, some of them might not. But we'll just have to see how many wonderful things we can thank God for based off of just looking at one item. So, you might be thinking, Mykaela, what are the items? What are the items? Well, I have a special object that's used a lot around Thanksgiving. Do you guys know what this is? Whoa. This is a cornucopia. Some of you might have known that, but if you didn't, this is called a cornucopia. And it's like a really old style basket. That's basically what it is. But you see them a lot at Thanksgiving, and they're usually filled with fruit and vegetables and all the spoils of a good harvest. But today, they're filled with things that I'm thankful for. Now, I've got some fun objects in here, and let's just get started. We'll use the first one as an example. I have a stuffed cat. Now, when you look at this stuffed cat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind that you can be thankful for? When I just look at it without thinking too hard, I think, oh, it's a toy, it's a stuffed animal. I'm thankful for toys because they're fun, they're soft and cuddly, but what are other things when we look at this that we could be thankful for or reminded to be thankful for when we look at this cat? One that I'm thankful for is cats. Now here's the thing. I used to only like dogs and I never liked cats. But now I love cats because you guys have met her in a previous episode, I think once or twice. But Ellen's boyfriend Matt, we watched his cat Rue for a couple of months while he was deployed. And she just worked her way right into my heart. So now I love cats. Who knew? I didn't think I would ever like cats, but now I love them. But it also reminds me of animals in general. I think animals are so cool. I love dogs, I love cats, I love all animals. God made each animal specific for different needs all over the world. They help do wonderful things that we don't even think of. And did you know that if cats live in your house, they keep spiders away? Not all of them, but they are known to keep spiders away. Another reason to love a cat. Okay, what did you think of? Did you think of anything else? Animals, a cat, stuffed animals? What were your ideas? We'll see if I can make a pile. I've got lots of stuff in here. A shoe! These are my favorite pair of shoes because they're the most comfortable. I wear them just about every day. I love these shoes. Now, I love them because they're comfortable, so I'm thankful that they're comfortable. I'm thankful that I have them so that I don't have to walk outside barefoot. What else? Oh, here's one. If we're really thinking hard, I'm thankful that I have friends to walk with, especially right now when we're staying home, staying safe. Sometimes we get a personal interaction with somebody by going for a walk distanced or being outside far apart from each other. You need shoes to go outside, especially right now because it's so cold, and you need shoes for walking. So that's something we can be thankful for. Thankful that we have shoes so we can go for walks with our friends when we can. What else did you guys think of? Anything? Now this is like one of my favorite things to see in cornucopias because I think they're just so cool looking. Grapes. And these are fake grapes. They're plastic. I think they're just so cool. I don't know what it is about the grapes, the fake grapes. I just think they're really cool. So I grabbed some fake grapes. One, I love grapes. So already a winner. I'm very thankful for grapes because I love them. But two, it reminds me of food in general. And it reminds me that I have food to eat every day. God provides what I need, like we talked about last week with the 5 kernels of corn. I have food. What else can we think of and be thankful for when we look at this great bunch? What else? Food makes you healthy and helps you grow strong, so we can be thankful for food providing us good health. And fruits and vegetables, they're good for you, they make you grow strong. There's a lot to be thankful for if you look for it. Ooh, all right. You guys can't really see my cornucopia. It's an Xbox controller. What's the first thing that comes into your mind when you see an Xbox controller? I mainly use an Xbox to watch TV. I don't have cable. We just have an Xbox that we have apps on, so I use this for TV. I really love movies, you guys. I love to watch TV and movies. And another thing to be thankful for because I watch TV and movies is I get to spend time with friends. That's something I like to do with my friends and my family, is to watch movies and TV. And I can do that because I have this at home. What else? We can play games with other people. Back to the cornucopia. Can you guys hear that? I had to raid Odette's drawer. For those of you who don't know, Odette is my niece and she goes to Lakeside. She has a drawer at my house with toys in it, and I put this guy in there. It's a snowman and he has jingle bells on his feet. He goes on doorknobs, so he's kind of fun. When you open doors and shut them, he like jingles a little bit. Okay, well, you guys know why I'm thankful for this guy, because he reminds me of Christmas, and I love Christmas. I'm thankful for snow. We live in a place where we don't get snow very often. We do sometimes, and sometimes we get hit with weird storms that make it really snowy. But most of the time, we don't get a lot of snow here, right where I live. But if you get snow where you live, oh, is it so beautiful? I'm always pray that it'll snow on Christmas so I can see the beautiful snow on Christmas. There's so many things. What did you guys come up with? Anything different? All right, what else do we have in here? Ooh, a Band-Aid. Band-Aids remind me to be thankful that we have things like Band-Aids and we have things to take care of us when we're hurt. Like my hands. They also remind me of my health, and so I can be thankful that I'm in good health. I can be thankful for doctors, and I'm so thankful for doctors right now, especially we have to stay home and stay safe, but thankfully we have doctors out there that are trying to find a vaccine for it and trying to find ways to make it so that we can still live our lives together. They're doing some hard work out there, and I'm just so thankful for them. So if you are watching and your parents work in a hospital or the medical field and they do something where they're helping people be healthy, you need to give them a really big thank you, because that's really important, especially right now. Oh, I am thankful for money. We all need money to buy things. We need money for groceries. We need money for gas for cars. We need money for just about everything, the clothes, everything we have, we need money for. And I'm thankful that we have money. But when I look at money, it makes me thankful that I have a job. Now, you guys don't have jobs yet because you're in school, but your moms and dads probably do. Now, some of you might be watching this and your moms and dads might be looking for a job, and I'll be praying that they find a job soon. What did you think of when you saw the money? Maybe you're saving up for something that you want really bad and you were able to get it because you saved your money and you were really thankful you did. That's another reason you can be thankful for money. All right, money. Thankful for that. Next is, this is a blow-up microphone. Got this from Odette's drawer. Boop. Microphone reminds me of music. Now, I love to sing. I sing at my church, but I have always loved to sing, so it reminds me of singing, but it reminds me of music in general. And I love music. I'm the kind of person that likes to have music on almost all the time. I love listening to it, I love singing, I love playing. Whatever it is, I'm in. Do you guys think of anything else other than music? I had a hard time thinking of anything different than music, but there were so many things to do with music. All right, I've got a notebook. And in this notebook is nothing. It's open for ideas. Now, I grabbed this because I thought of it as I would use a notebook for school when I was younger. This made me think about writing. I love telling stories. I like reading stories. You can write down your thoughts. You can write down things you're thankful for. We've done that before. There's so many things you can do with paper and a pen or pencil or marker, whatever. Things to be thankful for with a pen and notebook are endless. What you guys think of? Anything different? All right, I have a rock. Now you might be thinking, what are you thankful for a rock for? Well, when I look at this rock, I think of a couple things. My first thing that I'm thankful for is the outdoors. I love the area that we live in here, where Lakeside is. We are in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, in a small town called Kirkland, and we're right by the water, and there's rocks in our water. It's not a sandy lake, it's rocks. So it makes me think of our lakes here. And It also makes me think of the mountains. We have beautiful mountains here. But one thing that I'm thankful for when I look at this rock is this rock came from a walk that I was on with Killian. He is my nephew. He is Odette's brother. And Killian picked up this rock and we walked around with it, and he came back to my house and he left it here. And whenever I see this rock, I think about him, and I'm really thankful for Killian. So thank you, Killian. Thank you for this rock, and I am thankful for you and Odette. And Harper. She's my other niece, but she is still very young, so she hasn't spent a lot of time here at my house, especially now with COVID. And now the last thing I have in my cornucopia is the Bible. Now this is a cool storybook Bible. It tells all the stories of the Bible with really cool illustrations. And I got this from a friend. So not only is it the Bible, but it also makes me thankful for my friend Nadia, who gave me this Bible for Christmas. I think last year it was for Christmas she gave them to us. This is one of the biggest things ever to be thankful for. This is a reminder that God loves you because He gave us this Bible. He gave us these stories to give us hope, to show that we need Him, to show that Jesus died for us and He rose again to save us so that we can spend eternity in heaven. When you guys look at the Bible, what are you thankful for? Are you thankful for all the stories inside? All the heroes we look up to? All the good examples to live by? Some bad examples to not live by? To me, this is God's love for us is written down in this Bible for you and for me and for anybody who believes. Well, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm so curious what different things you guys came up with. All of these things, even though they were one object, we could think of multiple things to be thankful for when we looked at just one object. So remember, this week, as you're looking around, remember that there are so many things to be thankful for. You just have to find them. Have that positive mindset. When you look at one thing, think of how many other things you can be thankful for. It's a really good practice to start doing. So many ways to be thankful. And above all, you can remember that when you can't think of anything, when you're just really struggling, there's one thing that will never change, and that is that God loves you, and you can be thankful for that. Well, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed that, but now we're going to move on to our craft to make a beautiful lantern. So let's get to it. Welcome to craft time. Today we are going to be making our very own lanterns out of leaves that we find from outside. So this craft this week is going to require you to go pick some leaves and let them dry a little bit. I picked these earlier today and I let them dry so that they're not crunchy, but they're not wet. So you don't want them to be wet, but you don't want them to be like very crispy. However, I do have some that are more crispy. Can you hear that? But you want to pick leaves that are different shapes, different sizes, and we're going to use them to create a lantern. So I have some bigger ones, I have some little ones, and they're kind of a variety of colors. Just look at this pretty one. This one has like red on the ends. So pretty. So you will need leaves, you will need wax paper or parchment paper, basically anything that doesn't get greasy, tape, some liquid glue, a pair of scissors, and then either I have a mason jar here, or you can use a cup, kind of anything that will put the lantern around that can hold a candle inside. So I've got a candle here, and you might have the kind at home that has the batteries, which is great, that's perfect. I would suggest that, but I don't have that, so I have a real candle with matches. Now, you can totally use this at home, but make sure that your parents are helping you with that one, because I don't want anybody playing with fire. That's not cool. All right, let's get started. Perfect. What you're gonna do is grab your wax paper first, along with your jar. I'm gonna use a mason jar. You can use a cup, a mason jar, whatever you have at home. But you're gonna grab a mason jar, and you're gonna also want some scissors for trimming. So what we're gonna do first is measure out our lamp. So it's gonna be the part that goes around the outside of our base. So I have my mason jar, whatever you have at home. So how we're gonna do that is, I'm gonna scooch my leaves to the side here, is you're gonna pull the paper out. Be careful if you're doing this yourself, because this has ridges on it that are really sharp, so you don't wanna cut yourself. And you're gonna pull it out, like this. And I know it's a little tricky to see because I have a pattern on my tablecloth, but basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up and you're gonna roll this around your paper to kind of get where you want it to go. I've got a pretty good size because there's a little bit of extra, and that's good because we're gonna tape it at the end. So then what you do with this is you take the lid, you push down with your thumb and you hold it, and then you pull this down. Now if it rips a little bit, that's okay. And we're gonna make 2 sizes. So I'm gonna just follow this and rip. Ta-da! Now, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna trim off probably about this much, because see how much longer it is over? There's this much space left at the top, and the light will be at the bottom, so it'll be hard to light up the top. So I'm gonna just make it a little bit taller, and I'm gonna cut off this extra part. Like this. All right, now we are ready to go. Let's double check, make sure. Oh, it's a perfect size. Then you're gonna practice roll it up. Beautiful. All right, guys. So now that we have our 2 pieces ripped, you're gonna take one and scooch it away. So I'm gonna scooch that down, and now we're going to grab your liquid glue and your leaves. Now I know this is hard to see the paper on here, but I promise there's a paper here, so I'm not putting glue on my tablecloth. You'll be able to tell when you do this at home with your own wax paper. But now here's kind of the fun part. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put glue on it. And we're gonna put glue kind of all over it, because we're gonna eventually put this on. So if there's parts that aren't touching a leaf, that's okay. Glue on here. And kind of just do a couple lines. Like, I don't wanna go crazy. I don't want the whole thing to be covered in glue, but enough so that when I put leaves on here, they'll stick. Just like that. Now I'm gonna pick out my leaves, and this stem is really long, so I might actually just kind of cut the end of this stem off. Boop. And I'm gonna set this one like this. And then you just kind of set it on top of the glue, just like that. Now I have a lot of leaves, and I don't think all of them will fit on here, but I can do multiple, look, I have another really long stem. You can do multiple lanterns, you can make more than one. I'll put that there. Well, let's get this like yellow one here. And you're gonna fill up your whole thing with your different colored leaves. All right, I don't need the rest of my leaves, I'm gonna scooch those. So now here, I've got my leaves on the paper. Now I'm gonna transfer this to a tray so you can see a little bit better. Hold tight, much better. So now I've got my wax paper. I just moved it onto the tray just to make it a little visually easier for you guys to see. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put glue now on top of here, and we're gonna add our other piece on top. So let's add some glue. Now again, you want to put glue on here, but you don't need crazy amounts of glue. We don't need puddles. See, I'm just kind of doing lines. This is gonna help the papers to stick together and the leaves to stay still. All right, I'm gonna take my other piece and I'm gonna put it right on top. And then very gently push it down, because my leaves are a little bit crunchy and I don't want them to get destroyed. All right, now, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and put some books on top of it to make it lay flat. And I would suggest leaving it for about an hour. Now, I made one previously, so let me grab that one. I'll set this one to the side while it is drying and grab my other one. Now this one I let sit for about an hour. I'll try to get up close here. I know I have like the light right on top of here, so ta-da. You can still see the glue, but the cool thing about Elmer's glue, like this kind of glue, is that it dries clear. So when it's fully dry, because it's still not quite dry, I can see I'm pushing it around, it's still wet, but when it's fully dry, it'll be clear and it'll just be the leaves. Now that we have this one laid flat, the other one's drying, but once you have it laid flat, it's a little easier to like manipulate, meaning you can move it around a little easier. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our jar, and mine's really tall, so I'm gonna actually light my candle first. So I've got my candle. This is the part where if you are at home, you need to make sure that you have parent permission to either light this, supervision, or maybe you have a lighter and not matches. But if you're using matches at home, please, 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 please make sure your parents are with you when you do this. All right, here we go. I'm gonna light my match. Ooh, let that be fire. I'm gonna light my candle. Is this a joke? Do you guys see this? What? Okay, wow, these are strong matches. Okay, so now that I have my candle lit, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your thing and you're gonna wrap it around and you're gonna basically hold it onto the cup like this, and then with your other hand you're gonna smooth it around the whatever it is that you picked. I have my mason jar. You picked your cup and you just wrap it around, and then you're gonna take some tape and you're gonna tape it in place. And now I have my lantern. Now if you pick it up, make sure you grab the whole thing. If you have an actual flame inside, you don't want to pick it up after it's been lit for a while because it'll be hot. But I can do it since we just did it, and I'm gonna, guys, check this out. Alexa, turn off dining room. Ooh, do you see that? Do you see my beautiful leaves? I'm twisting it around because it is disconnected from the, it's not like stuck on the mason jar, so you can just kind of lift it up like that. Then I put it back on, and look at all the leaves. We made a beautiful leaf lantern. And it's kind of hard for you to tell. I wonder if I hold it up really close. You can see all the cool parts of the leaf. You can see the veins and the colors coming through. I like this one because there were a couple holes in it and it makes it look really beautiful. Oh, I made the light go out. Sorry. Oh well. But this is how you make your lantern. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna lift it off again. Fully blow my candle out. Again, if you have the kind that have the batteries at home, that's even better. Alexa, turn on dining room. Technology. Amazing. I hope you guys enjoy your cool lanterns. I took it off, but here's my lantern with my candle. But then you can see all the beautiful parts of the leaves. And I hope you just love it. I think it'll be a really fun addition to your Thanksgiving table. Maybe you can make some to go on the table for Thanksgiving dinner, or just something festive to have for this season. And now is the perfect time to go pick up leaves. It's beautiful out, they're falling, they're beautiful colors. And with that, let's wrap up our day, you guys. Enjoy! Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. I hope you had a fun time. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you had fun with the craft. I hope your lanterns turn out so beautiful. If you make one, please send me a picture. I would love to see how they turn out. I love it when I get to see your guys' crafts. It's my favorite. But with the lesson, I hope you guys learn this week as you go out, when you're looking at different things or you're doing stuff, stop and take a moment to see what you're doing and remember to be thankful for it. And think of all the different ways that you can be thankful for that one thing. It's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it, especially when things don't seem so great. It's easy to get bummed out about stuff, but if we look for things to be thankful for, they're always there. You just have to have a positive mindset. Well guys, I love you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Know that I'm praying for you, and I just hope you guys are doing well. I miss seeing you, and for those of you who are joining us that don't go to Lakeside, I hope someday we get to meet in person, but just know that I'm praying for you as well, and I hope you guys all have the best week ever. And with that, I will see you next Sunday. Bye!